This is the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. If you haven't already, subscribe. We've got multiple Cowboys videos for you each and every single day, averaging almost 2 VODs per day, plus the live shows, all that stuff. A ton of content here on the Cowboys Report, so make sure you are subscribed. Let's talk injuries and the fallout from Sunday Night Football. Stephen Jones saying Tyler Guyton is day-to-day with his knee injury. Should be okay, was the report from Todd Archer. We'll see if he misses time. He might not play this week. I wouldn't rule that out as a possibility. We'll know more Wednesday, Thursday, once those injury reports end up coming out. In general, I thought the Cowboys got better play up front against the Pittsburgh Steelers in the second half of that football game. But I do think it was more than just losing Tyler Guyton. Nick Herbig was cooking both left tackles. He had a lot of success against Tyler Smith. He got him beat several times in that football game in very impressive fashion. And then Nick Herbig got hurt. They had to play some DeMarvin Leal. They had to play some Jeremiah Moon. And neither guy was nearly as good. I actually think the loss of Nick Herbig in kind of an under-the-radar fashion was one of the bigger benefits this team had on offense, because that took away a really good pass rusher from Pittsburgh, and they're already down Alex Highsmith, and they didn't have the options behind him, and all of a sudden the offensive line starts playing a lot better because the left tackles aren't getting beat as much as they were previously. That's not to say Guyton played great in that game. Again, there were issues. There still too many times, about like 6 per game on a normal game snap count. Obviously had a lot of full game snap count here, but he just gets beat badly. There needs to be more growth from Tyler Guyton. I think that can happen. I think there's one way that happens right now, right? I will give Tyler Smith a lot of praise for a mid-game switch. I think that is a very big deal. Like to go from left guard, left tackle, mid-game is not easy to do. And I thought he played mostly well. There were a couple reps again from Smith. Like, that was not very good. There was the one run for Rico Dowd that actually Guyton got hurt on, kind of got bent up awkwardly. He just whiffed on his block. There were a couple of those plays where it's like, okay, you got to be a little bit better there. Herbig got him a few times. The penalties were back again, which is frustrating. Some pre-snap stuff there. I thought TJ Bass was serviceable. I don't think he was really much of an upgrade, if any upgrade, over Tyler Guyton. And that Smith was pretty consistent at left tackle versus left guard, especially once Herbig went out. I don't actually think Bass was elite in that game. There were some good reps, but I think we kind of got caught up on him hunting some guys, which was a good play on the touchdown throw, but I thought there were mistakes out there, especially in pass protection. I don't think he was an elite run blocker. He's a great backup for you. He might be your long-term option at right guard. But right now, I think it's even at best between Bass and Guyton in terms of who's your 5th best offensive lineman. So, pinned comment, more thoughts to come. Would you keep starting Tyler Guyton? Y for yes, N for no. Go vote the pinned comment if the ad comes here on the YouTube side of things. I'm going to keep starting him. And this is a big reason why. I can't bail on my first-round pick 5 games in. That's not a good process, specifically on the offensive line. Everyone knew Tyler Guyton was raw coming out. He was going to have some lumps early on if you're going to play him as a first-year player. He says he's better at left tackle. You have to have patience here. And it's not to say he's played great. He's not played good enough football yet. We would all agree on that. But I spent a first-round pick on I got to be my left tackle of the future to bail on him 5 games in, potentially shatter his confidence, and say, yeah, we're just not going to play you if you're healthy. I don't think that's a good process. He needs the reps. And I think that will very much pay dividends, not just long-term after this year. I think as the year goes on. We've seen this a lot in the NFL. You need chemistry and cohesion on the offensive line. And you get that by not having to shuffle out your starting lineup every single week. That's what happens with bad O-lines. You lose a guy, then this guy goes down, and now you're all out of whack, all out of sorts. I think that's how you get better. Playing with the same guys. You're playing together. You're getting those valuable reps in games that matter and not preseason games. I believe when he says he's better at left tackle. I do. I think you have to have patience here. We can be frustrated, absolutely. But for a team that drafts offensive linemen pretty well, I've got to keep playing him at the spot that he's going to be here long term. Otherwise, I think you're just adding more uncertainty and more confusion and more chaos to a unit that needs to not have that. I will also make this point, because I've seen I put Guyton back on the right side. No. I am mostly pretty kind of die on this hill based on 5 games. Terence Steele is playing better than he is getting credit for. I frankly didn't love what the Cowboys' game plan was. There was a lot of times they put TJ Watt on an island against him. He actually held up pretty well for the most part. A sack, hit a hurry, got beat 3 times, pass protection, had the pre-snap penalty. Run blocked very well. Overall, I am pretty happy with what you got out of Terence. No, again, there's going to be multiple reps per game where it's like, dude, what are we doing out here? Like, you got to be better on that particular rep. So I don't want to just say, he's playing perfect football right now. But he's playing a lot better than I think, A, what he's being given credit for, and how he played last year. I think that is a big deal for Terence Steele. Now, there's still too many reps in pass protection. I thought in particular he didn't have great games against the Ravens was fairly rough. I thought the Saints was pretty rough, but he's kind of settled down since then. He continues to be a good run blocker. The penalties are down. The sacks, hits, and hurries are trending in the correct direction. He's still not quite as good as he was in 2022, I think, but he's a lot closer. And he is not your biggest issue up front right now. Today's show is made possible by Game Time. Game Time is the place for last-minute tickets to your next big event. They have a new feature called Game Time Picks. It makes the tickets to your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to only show you the incredible deals on great seats, so you don't waste time searching through thousands of different tickets. It is curation designed to help save you more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and everything else in between. Get a panoramic view of your seat in the app before you buy. The lowest price guarantee from Game Time is this. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. The all-in pricing feature shows your total cost up front, so there are no surprise fees at checkout when you toggle that feature on. Download the Game Time app, create your account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create your account, redeem code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off. Download Game Time today because what time is it? It's game time. Let's also talk Marshawn Kneeland. He will have surgery on a partially torn meniscus. Now, that shouldn't be season-ending as long as they go in, confirm it's partially torn when Dan Cooper does the surgery on Tuesday, and get positive feedback on that. That would be probably a 4 to 6 week injury. I would guess a pretty good amount of money he goes on IR because you need bodies right now at defensive end. I'll talk about that in a minute. But it sucks for Dallas. It's better than it could have been, is your silver lining. But you are now down your top 4 pass rushers. And that's not good. You are already down Sam Williams for the entire season. DeMarcus Lawrence is going to be back maybe in November. Maybe later than that. We'll see about the timing there. Could be late November. Micah Parsons back maybe after the bye. Kneeland's going to be out till November probably. It leaves a bunch of guys that you weren't sure were going to be on your team, frankly. So much like we did when Tank Lawrence and Micah Parsons went down, we'll look at some potential candidates. Do you think the Cowboys need to get another defensive end? 1 for yes, 0 for no. Let me know in the comments of today's video. Now, the first jobs are going to go to the guys already on the team. And Chauncey Golston leads the way. He was solid against Pittsburgh. 13.8% pressure rate, not that bad. Half sack, 5 tackles. I thought did a decent job against the run as well. You feel a lot better when he's like your 5th defensive end, not your number 1 defensive end. But again, this is where you're at. It's not a great spot to be. Tyrus Sweets, outside of the stupid penalty, I thought played pretty well. For a guy that was a special teamer on very few 53-man roster projections to be fighting is probably good. The pressure rates weren't great overall. Helps that Fields kind of holds the ball long sometimes. But those are your 2 guys on the active roster, plus KJ Henry, who you called or who you signed for the Bengals practice squad, wasn't active. Hopefully it's good to go this week because you kind of don't have any other options there. I would anticipate, by the way, we'll see if it's made official, if it is in the near future. Carl Lawson is, I would almost assuredly guess, going to be called up from the practice squad to the active roster. He is out of practice squad call-ups. He's played 3 games in a row. He knows your defense. That's an obvious internal candidate. Now, I also want to look at some outside help candidates. And to make it easy, it's the exact same list we did last time with some adjustments because stuff has changed. On Randy Gregory, it's a no from me, dog. I don't know what happened there. He signed with Tampa, never showed up. I honestly just hope he's okay. Like from a mental health standpoint, it's just not a great spot with what's happened with him over the course of his career. A little bit worried about that one, but I'm not making that one happen again. Now, I had 5 practice squad options before, when Micah and Tank first went down. 2 of them are no longer options. KJ Henry already signed with you, off the board. I don't think Yannick Ngakoue is much of an option because he's getting called up from the Ravens. K'Lavon Chasen has not been very good, but you like them coming out. Vikings have some backups on their practice squad. Bo Richter, Andre Carter II, the grouping of armed forces players. And then Tyus Bowser already got poached by the Miami Dolphins, who you did work out, by the way, in the offseason, in the preseason, I suppose. So name a defensive end who you want to add. I am sure one name in particular will be very popular. We'll get to that in a second. But name a defensive end who you guys want to go out and acquire. Trade targets. Hassan Reddick obviously stands out here. I have my doubts the Cowboys would pay for him. I have my doubts the Jets in your front office would be in a good enough spot to make stuff happen. But I think you could call. I think you owe it to yourself to call because you need that pass rush juice. He brings it to you in a way you don't have right now. The lack of playing time as of late is probably not a good thing. Like, it's not something that shouldn't be overlooked. That he hasn't played. Has to be that he's not going to be as impactful immediately, which matters here. Guys on maybe not great teams, Isaiah Land, but the Colts have injuries. They're probably going to keep him now. Josh Uche, if you want to get the cheap buy low pass rushing option. Isaiah Foskey, D'Angelo Malone, Dominique Robinson, recent picks who have not played the best, but could be, buy low candidates. Denver, if they want to shop some edges, maybe ends up not happening. We shall see. D'Angelo Malone. Again, DPR. I'm kind of looking for more of a pure pass rush guy. Maybe Klein could make some sense, but we know this about this team. They like their guys. Means they might not go down that path.